What's going on that you wanted to talk? Well, it's a bit difficult to say, but I've seen someone who looks like you walking with your husband, but I think it was not you and not just once or twice. That day I went to work as usual and carried out my daily tasks. Then one of the employees told me that my husband was seen walking with another woman who resembles me. I have an older sister, Anna, who is 3 years older than me. I hardly ever communicate with her now, so I have no idea what she's up to. I haven't even told her that I got married. So I started worrying, thinking that woman might be Anna. This is because back in high school, Anna once stole my boyfriend. Since then, I've completely stopped speaking to her, but I couldn't help wondering if she's come to take something from me again. You've seen them multiple times? Yes, I thought it was you from afar, but the outfit wasn't the same as what you wore that day. So I felt suspicious. When I got closer, it turned out to be a different woman who just looks similar. I've seen them in the sales area several times, apparently on dates or something. There were moments when they held hands and hugged, and I couldn't keep silent any longer. So, I decided to report it as the company's president. I didn't want to bring personal issues into work, so I pretended everything was normal in front of the employees. But deep down, I was worried that I might be getting cheated on. However, at this point, Dennis's infidelity wasn't confirmed since there was no definitive proof. I decided to investigate a little. It's sudden, but I need to go on a business trip from next Monday, so I'll be away from home for 5 days. Is that so? I don't have any problems being alone anyway. Good luck. Yeah, thank you. When I mentioned that I would be away on a business trip, Dennis seemed slightly happy. Since I am not home that often, he can cheat if he wants to cheat. But perhaps he is happy that I will be completely absent. With those thoughts, I prepared something. Then Monday came around. On Tuesday morning, as soon as I woke up, I checked the footage from the surveillance camera, which I installed before I left. You're really cute. I love you. I love you too. To my shock, the surveillance camera captured my husband and sister together in the midst of an intimate moment. I immediately prepared to confront them and headed home. I'm home, I hear voices. Are you with someone? Wait a minute, why is everyone here, huh? I don't understand. And why are Dad and Mom here too? My name is Sarah, and I currently run a company that develops software systems and websites, and I also work as a software engineer. Ever since I was a child, I was good at math, worked hard at my studies, and went on to attend the top university in the USA. After graduating, I joined a major IT company, and within 3 years, I started my own business. About the project that the client asked us to change requirements recently, how is it going? I'm worried if we can keep up since it's quite a change. We've managed to implement some of the requested features, but we're still unable to implement some. Sounds quite challenging. We finished most of the coding, but we can't resolve the errors. Understood. Good. Once I finish the current task, I'll take over, so make sure to complete the other tasks. That client is our top priority. I graduated in the top 5 of my class at the university and was quickly recognized for my skills as an engineer at a major company. Shortly after, I became independent. I started as a freelancer and gained clients while working, and now I have grown to the point where I employ several engineers at my company. I truly enjoy my current job, and every day shines bright, no matter how busy it gets. It's proof that the company is doing well, and it boosts my confidence more and more. One day, I had dinner with one of the clients. You're the same age as me. I've heard about you from my seniors, and it's really amazing that you manage a company at your age. I respect you. Thank you. When you're young, you have a lot of energy, and I decided to keep challenging myself. It's still far from stable, so I'll keep working hard. It was a dinner meeting partly to greet the new contact representing the client's company. The new contact was the same age as me, and we shared similar hobbies. It was our first meeting, but we clicked right away and got along well. Then I look forward to continuing working with you. Outside of work, I hope we can go out to eat again. Likewise, thank you. The dinner went well, and I felt that I could build a good relationship with this person in the future. At the same time, I found myself slightly considering him as more than just a good business partner. His last words especially added fuel to my feelings. As a child, I was always studying, and even as an adult, I had only worked. Gradually, he became someone special to me. Will you go out with me from now on? I want to be more than just a business partner. I want to be someone special. Really? Are you serious? Yes. I'm always serious. I was just finishing a system that his company had ordered, and it was around the time of delivery that he confessed his feelings to me. I knew he liked me, as he often asked me out for meals, but I was nervous and couldn't find the right words. When he actually confessed, my heart raced, and it felt as if the world I was in wasn't real. But he was looking straight at me. Looking into his clear eyes, I was convinced that he was serious. For sure. I look forward to it. Good. I thought I messed up for a second there, but I'm happy it worked out. Because I was busy with work, I never thought I'd have a boyfriend, so this confession made me truly happy. In my heart, I whispered that I would build a long relationship with him. About a year later, he proposed to me. It was a long-awaited proposal, and I felt the happiest I had ever been in my life. I thought that the happy days with Dennis would continue after marriage, but my expectations were betrayed in a bad way. I quit. Quit? You quit your job? What does that mean? Well, you run a company, right? Then there's absolutely no need for me to work. We can live comfortably on your earnings alone. I was at a loss for words, in shock. Dennis's argument that we could live on my earnings alone wasn't wrong, but the problem was that he quit his job without discussing it with me. Why didn't you consult me about it? If you were going to quit your job, you could have at least talked to me about it. I don't feel good about being informed this way, after the fact. You're kind. So if I had talked to you about it, you would have told me it's okay to quit, right? The answer is obvious, so why bother with troublesome consultations? Dennis didn't seem to think what he had done was wrong at all, and made excuses without showing any regret. The problem wasn't the financial aspect, but that he had made such a major decision alone. Now, we are not just a couple, but a married couple. As a married couple, consulting each other on big decisions is a must. It's a problem if you don't consult with me properly. It's not as simple as whether we can live off my income or not. You're running a company and making money, so covering living expenses shouldn't be a big deal, right? We're a couple after all. In exchange, I'll help out with the housework. Dennis said this without any hint of remorse. It's as if he believed there was nothing wrong with his actions, and that I was being unreasonable for being surprised. However, I sighed at Dennis's lack of sense. It was my fault for not seeing this side of his personality before we got married. Since there's no going back after getting married, all I can do is ensure that no further problems arise as we continue to live together. From now on, when making big decisions, you need to inform me. We're not living separately after all. Just because I'm the president of the company doesn't mean I can use the company's money freely. You understand that, right? The company's revenue and my salary are separate things. I said I understand, didn't I? Stop nagging. I get it. You don't have to say the same thing over and over. Don't treat me like I am dumb, okay? If he truly understood, I wouldn't say anything more. Since he's not a child, I believe he understood why I was angry. Believing this, I decided to stop addressing the issue of him quitting his job on his own. However, his actions were completely contrary to his promises. He said he would help with housework in exchange for not working, but he did none at all. My company had implemented flex time, so I didn't leave the house until 10 a.m. Even at that time, he wouldn't get up at all, and yet he did nothing around the house and spent his days lounging, watching TV, or playing video games. My patience finally reached its limit. Hey, you promised you'd help with the housework. Why are you just playing around all the time? It's ridiculous that I have to come home from work and do everything. I quit my job because of stress, so this is a period of rest. I'm considering re-employment in the future, but that might become impossible if you keep this up, he said, almost as if he was threatening me. While he may have been stressed looking at his current situation, it didn't seem to be a serious issue. Every day, Dennis seemed to enjoy his time watching TV or playing games. I've seen many people stressed and struggled mentally, but he didn't fit any of those characteristics. Even so, if you have time to play games, you can do some housework, right? Like running the washing machine or the dishwasher. That's simple. We even have a robotic vacuum cleaner, so housekeeping should be much easier than usual. I'm not very good at housework in the first place. Well, I'll learn, little by little. Don't rush me. I was beginning to think it was useless to say anything more to him. It seemed like he only cared about himself and was indifferent to how I felt. Since there was no point in fussing over it any longer, I decided to hire a housekeeper. Work had been getting busier recently, and I simply didn't have the time to do household chores after work. If hiring a housekeeper would solve the problem, then so be it. Before I knew it, 5 years had passed. During that time, my company had grown significantly and succeeded in establishing 2 branches. I also started another company focusing on IT consulting, and now I have a company with about 2,500 employees. Then one day, "What's going on that you wanted to talk?" "Well, it's a bit difficult to say, but I've seen someone who looks like you walking with your husband, and I know it was not you, and not just once or twice." That day, I went to work as usual and carried out my daily tasks. Then one of the employees told me that my husband was seen walking with another woman who resembles me. I have an older sister, Anna, who is 3 years older than me. I hardly ever communicate with her now, so I have no idea what she's up to. I haven't even told her that I got married, but I started thinking that woman might be my sister. This is because back in high school, Anna once stole my boyfriend. Since then, I've completely stopped speaking to her. But I couldn't help wondering if she's come to take something from me again. "You've seen them multiple times?" "Yes, it was from a distance, so I thought it was you, the precedent. But the outfit was different from what you wore that day, which made me suspicious. So I went closer and realized it was a different woman who just looked similar. I've seen her in the Sailor's area several times, probably on a date or something. There were moments when they held hands and hugged, and I couldn't stay silent anymore. So I reported it. Despite looking apologetic, I must appreciate her courage for coming forward with this information. Thank you so much for telling me. It's a family issue, so I'll resolve it within the family. But sorry for the trouble. From now on, you can focus on your work. I didn't want to create a heavier atmosphere, so I consciously spoke in a cheerful tone with a smile. Then her face gradually brightened up, and she quickly returned to her desk. As the president of the company, I didn't want to bring personal issues into the workplace. Even so, though, I continued to act normally in front of the employees. But inside, I was worried about the possibility of infidelity. However, at this point, Dennis's infidelity wasn't confirmed since there was no definitive proof. I decided to do a little digging. It's sudden, but I need to go on a business trip from next Monday, so I'll be away from home for 5 days. Is that so? No problem, I can manage alone. So good luck? Yeah, thank you. When I mentioned that I would be away on a business trip, Dennis seemed slightly happy. Usually, since I'm not at home, he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to cheat, he can cheat without me knowing. But since I am usually home at night, perhaps my complete absence from home makes him happy. With that in mind, I made certain preparations, and then Monday came around. As I told Dennis, I left the house for 5 days. However, the business trip was a lie. My real intention was to monitor Dennis's actions through a hidden camera in the house. He might bring his mistress home, and that was my target. Once I arrived at the hotel, I immediately checked the surveillance camera footage. Dennis was taking a shower and preparing to go out. I wasn't sure if he was going to meet his mistress, but I decided to watch his actions for now. After getting ready, Dennis left the house quickly, and while I continued to work, I kept checking the surveillance camera footage periodically. However, Dennis did not return home. So, I went to sleep. At midnight, Dennis hadn't returned yet, so I thought he might have stayed overnight somewhere. However, the next morning, as soon as I woke up, I checked the surveillance camera footage. You're really cute. I love you. I love you too. Shockingly, the footage showed my husband and my sister together, in the midst of being intimate. I was speechless with shock, but the next moment, my mind was filled with anger. The speculation that he might be cheating had turned into certainty. I could have stormed home alone, but before doing so, I decided to call various relatives. 30 minutes later, I was home. I hear voices. Are you with someone? I quietly shut the front door, trying to make as little noise as possible, and entered the house, knowing that the two were in the bedroom being intimate. I went up to the bedroom door, took a deep breath, and shouted loudly. Since I was monitoring the inside with the surveillance camera, I knew exactly what was happening inside. The moment they heard my voice, the two jolted, and then stared intensely at the bedroom door. Without hesitation, I opened the bedroom door and entered the room with the relatives I had brought with me. It seems you two are having quite a good time together, aren't you? Can you explain the situation so that all of us can understand? They looked like deer in the headlights. I made sure to control my emotions and handle the conversation smoothly. Ideally, I wanted to yell at them, but I knew that wouldn't be helpful. Wait a minute. Why is everyone here, huh? I don't understand. And why are Dad and Mom here too? After receiving a report from an employee that Dennis might be cheating, I independently conducted my own investigation. Though I couldn't catch any definitive proof, I discussed the suspicions with both my parents and my in-laws. They promised they would come immediately if anything happened. I called all my relatives in my contacts, and 10 or so of them gathered at my house to witness this chaotic scene. Do you both realize the seriousness of what you've done, getting involved with each other's family? What were you thinking? I was shocked when I heard there might be an affair, but to think it's Sarah's own sister, Anna. This has to stop now, both of you. This is unforgivable. How do you plan to take responsibility for this? Especially angry were both mine and his parents, who furiously yelled at Dennis and Anna. Facing the parents' furious expressions, Dennis and Anna seemed completely intimidated. They shrank smaller, looking down in silence. It was like watching a mouse cornered by a cat, and I felt profoundly miserable from the bottom of my heart. Wait a minute, let me explain. She came on to me. I told her we shouldn't do this because it's wrong, but it was like she forced me, kind of. Why are you lying? Yes, I initiated contact, but you were the one who got enthusiastic and invited me. You were enjoying it because you think I'm cuter than Sarah. Don't start lying now. Unlike you, I'm married. It was wrong for you to contact me in the first place. What they should be doing first is apologizing to me. Instead, they began to push the blame onto each other. Neither seemed to feel responsible for their actions, nor did they have any intention of apologizing. Some of the relatives who came were so appalled by their exchange that they were beyond angry. It's outrageous to blame others and shirk your own responsibilities. At this point, who initiated it doesn't matter. Don't you even have any remorse for what you've done? If you truly felt sorry for what you did, why don't you kneel and apologize? That's what you should be doing. After being scolded by both fathers, the two seemed to come to their senses. Though they couldn't get out of the bed because they weren't dressed, they began to apologize right there. I'm really sorry for letting it come to this. It was just a momentary lapse. Me too. It was like high school days, just a bit. Well, if he hadn't invited me, I wouldn't have done it. Do you even understand what you're being told? Stop making excuses and blaming others. Didn't you just hear that if you were truly remorseful, you wouldn't be making excuses? When I said this, they fell silent again. Perhaps I was mistaken to expect any sense of decency from people who could betray their family like this. I really am sorry about what happened. I'm seriously sorry. I'll apologize too. So, for now, can everyone please leave? Let's set another time to talk. Okay, no need for another time. I don't intend to see you two ever again, and I'll settle everything here. I didn't want to see these people again. Moreover, when there was a suspicion that Dennis might be cheating, I had already decided to divorce. If my suspicions were wrong, I would discard the divorce papers I had prepared, but if not, I would have him sign them right there. My mind was made up. Could you sign this divorce paper, please? What divorce? After all this, you thought we wouldn't get a divorce. It seems like you really don't understand the seriousness of what you've done. But do we really need to go as far as a divorce? Sure, what I did was wrong, but doesn't it seem a bit much? So let me ask you this. Are you saying that even though you cheated, you don't want a divorce and you want to continue being supported by me? You want me to pay the rent, the living expense, and even hire a housekeeper while you continue to live however you like? For a moment, Dennis's words sounded so absurd and shameless. They could have been a joke. I was doing my best to contain my emotions, but I could feel my anger rising. And Anna, I will be filing for emotional damages against you. Whether we're family or not doesn't matter. Paying damages for adultery is common societal sense. I don't have a job. How can I possibly pay any damages? Besides, you run a company and aren't short of money, right? What does my running a company have to do with this? Now, aren't damages meant to help someone live after a divorce? Then just demand it from this foolish man of yours. As a family, I shouldn't be involved. And like I said, he was the one who seduced me. If anyone is a victim, I am the one. Stop saying such petty things all the time. Their exchange was absurd and unbearable to watch. It was like talking to children despite being older than me. Why can't they engage in a proper conversation? Being family does not exempt one from paying for emotional damages for adultery. Their understanding of damages is also mistaken, revealing a lack of education. Grow up, Anna, who had always been praised for her looks, looked down on me. Because I was studious, she believed that being pretty was more important than being smart for a successful life. And look where that got her. There's no point in discussing further with someone lacking education. From now on, we will settle matters through a lawyer. Is that okay? A lawyer? Are you serious about this? Of course I'm serious. If you won't agree to the divorce and pay the alimony, then I'll just hire a lawyer. Remember, I am still a company's president, so don't underestimate me. Don't be ridiculous. Your company isn't doing well, right? That's why you're taking out your stress by bullying your family. What a pathetic person you are. My anger was nearly at its peak, but her last comment was unforgivable. She knew nothing of the effort I put in after graduating from university. Enough with the nonsense. Living off your wife or parasitizing your parents while mocking me? I manage a company with 2,500 employees, generating more revenue than you could earn in a lifetime. Most of it is the company's revenue, so I don't take much as a salary. What? You earn that much? Since you never showed any interest in me as your wife, I never told you. But don't expect much from the property division. I haven't saved much because I own a large asset, my company, and I only transfer enough salary for necessary expenses. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me now? I apologize too. I'm truly sorry. I'll change my ways and start working seriously, and I'll support you devotedly. Let's start over as a couple. After learning the reality of my company, they suddenly changed their tone. How much more could they belittle others? Just as I was about to take a deep breath and shout, my father intervened. Enough from both of you. If you don't stop now, I might lose it. Just decide now whether you'll sign the divorce papers or not. No need for further talk. That day, with their stubble, they looked even more intimidating under the glare of these large men. Both were completely cowed, overwhelmed by the pressure. Dennis reluctantly signed the divorce papers. I left the house with the divorce papers and our relatives. Thank you all for your support. I'll update you once the alimony and damage are settled. I deeply apologize for my son's behavior. As a father, I'm truly sorry. Please don't apologize, father-in-law. You weren't involved in this affair. I'm grateful that you stood by me until the end. Even so, I feel sorry because our son has done such a terrible thing. Both of them supported me to the end, and I needed to express my gratitude for that. After sharing my feelings with them, we went our own ways for that day. Afterwards, I contacted a lawyer and received detailed advice about claiming damages. Since then, I've been able to completely cut ties, and now I am working hard every day as a single woman. Dennis struggled to find reemployment and faced financial difficulties immediately after the divorce. He's barely making ends meet by working part-time jobs and is trying hard to repay the debt he incurred to pay the alimony. As for Anna, she too was disowned by our parents and is desperately trying to get by each day. However, the situation they're in is entirely their own fault. They should deeply regret their actions and live with that regret going forward. As for me, I continue to lead the company as its president even after becoming single. The people I work with are trustworthy, unlike my ex-husband and sister. I plan to continue valuing such individuals. What's important in life is not how much money you make or how attractive you are. What really matters is building good relationships with people around. This applies to professional relationships, family, friends, and all relationships in one's life. Even without money or marriage, if you can build a life filled with love and trust for those around you, you can lead a joyous life. Going forward, I intend to cherish and care for the trustworthy people and